welcome here, 56ers. Welcome to Sunday school. We're gonna get started off with a little game. And since Pastor Jordan's not here this week, it's gonna be a quiz about him. So, are you ready? Here, I got a little picture of us. This is the guy you're thinking about. That's us when we were little babies. Aren't we so tiny? We're little. Okay, this is the guy you're thinking about right now. Okay, I want you to think of all the things you know about him, and we'll see how many you get. There's gonna be 3 questions. First question is this. What children's collection item did Pastor Jordan collect as a kid? Is it A, toy cars? Okay, toy cars. Is it B, pencil crayons? Or is it C, porcelain horses? Okay, I know this is not a porcelain horse, but I didn't have any porcelain horses here at the church. They're not a very common commodity. So, A, toy cars, B, pencil crayons, or C, porcelain horses. If you said A, toy cars, you are wrong. It is porcelain horses. Sometime you should ask him about them. He's got a whole giant bin of porcelain horses. Bet you never knew that. Okay, second question about Pastor Jordan. What is Pastor Jordan's favorite snack? Is it A, Cheetos, like the crunchy kind, not the soft kind? Cheetos. Is it B, cereal? Or is it C, Pastor Jordan is way too healthy to eat snacks? What do you think? What's the answer? If you said B, cereal, you are correct. Pastor Jordan eats cereal every day, and he'll come home after work and eat cereal, and he'll before bed eat cereal. You get the picture. He eats a lot of cereal. Okay, third and final question. What is Pastor Jordan's last name? Is it A, Kavanaugh? Is it B, Polson? Or is it C, how in the world would I ever know his last name? We just call him Pastor Jordan. All right, which one is it? If you said C, well, that's kind of also right. But the actual answer is A. It is Pastor Jordan Kavanaugh. If you got 3 out of 3 on this quiz, you should email Pastor Jordan and bombard his email box because he keeps telling you to email all these other people. And, you know, I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. Jordan C at crossroadschurch.ca. Thanks for playing the quiz today, guys. Well, it's that time of year again. Fall's starting up, school is going back, and you know what, 56ers? We're actually coming back too. That means next week, starting next week, we're gonna have live opportunities to come to Sunday school. Now, you might not be ready for that. There's lots going on in your world. You guys gotta figure out school and, you know, how to wear masks and all this stuff that you gotta figure out. That's okay. But what we want you to know is we want you to know that when you're ready to come back to church, we're gonna be here ready for you. You may have some questions about what that looks like. At Sunday school, things are gonna look a little bit different than at school. We've got a whole different set of guidelines to follow for this dynamic from what you follow at school. But what we want you to know is that we care about safety and we still care about fun. And of course, like always, we really care about growing in our faith together. So we're gonna do our part to make sure all of those things still happen. The big questions you might wanna know is, if I come to Sunday school, do I have to wear a mask or do I not have to wear a mask? Both is okay. According to our guidelines, you can choose. We're gonna do our part to keep things clean and social distanced, and whichever way you come, we're just happy you're gonna be here with us. The second difference that's gonna be at Sunday school this year is we're gonna do things mostly in small groups. And that's a little bit different from what you're used to. Normally we come in the 56er room and play games and things. We'll still play games, we'll still have fun, there will even still be foosball, yay! But it's gonna be in small groups, which is actually kind of cool because that means you'll get to know other kids right around your table, like their name, and they'll know your name. and your leader will actually get to talk to you in a conversation. So we're excited about what we're going to have for you this year, and we hope that you get excited too. You'll still have to register beforehand. So maybe even after you are finished Sunday school today, maybe go have a conversation with your parents about when they think is the right time for you guys to check out coming back to the church service. In the meantime, today, we want us to do some thinking about what does church mean? This whole last few months has been really different, and maybe it's got you, scratching your head trying to think of some questions of what really is church, and is it that important? Or isn't it? So today, we've got some questions for you from our friends at The Loop, and we want you to walk through that, and then we're going to do a little bit of a lectio together at the end. Check it out.
Hello!
Hi! Today we're going to be answering your frequently asked questions. Hang on for the loop!
3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Knock it down. Give me a second.
Ooh, good job!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ricky.
I'm Jamie.
A lot of people have questions about church. Did you ever have questions about church, Jamie?
I did. Yeah, I never knew, what should I wear? Can I wear a dress? Can I wear pants? I don't know.
And I used to wonder why church was so long, because it started in the morning and often ended late in the afternoon, and I didn't know why that was the case.
Well, today we are going to get some answers, but first, Action Figure Theater!
Roar! I'm going to use you to drive my cars.
Excuse me, sir. Do you go to church?
Church? Yeah, I go to church.
Church, I like a church. It's so fun.
Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, sure, man. Fire away.
Do you guys go to church?
Sometimes, yeah. Especially at Christmas. Yeah, and Easter.
What is church?
It's like school in the dark. You sit down, lights go out, you listen to one guy, and then the lights turn on and you leave.
Oh, what is church?
Oh, man, church is everyone and everywhere. Church is here, church is there, church is me, church is you.
What is church?
Well, I'm asking you, what is church?
It's where we go. We worship God there. We sing and we listen to the sermon.
Yes.
With other llamas.
So what kind of church do you go to?
A non-denominational.
Yeah, we're non-denominational.
Church is just a building, I feel like, where people meet.
People meet.
Yeah, talk and
Drink coffee.
eat donuts and worship.
Church is now, church is later. Church is steak, church is chicken. I think it's important for some people, but it's not really. It's not my thing. It's not like a must. Nah.
Do I have questions about church?
Yeah, do you have any questions specifically about?
Why do we go to church?
One, why? Why church? Is that simple enough for you?
I mean, why do I have to go to the building? Can't I just listen to church on a podcast at home? Or I can do church at the basketball court, or I could do church at the beach.
Sometimes it's a little weird to raise your hands at church. I don't know why people do that.
What's the weirdest thing about church?
Oh, probably me.
It can be
Okay,
in the sea.
Okay, I think we're
It can be on an island. It can be on an isthmus. It can be on a peninsula.
Church can be confusing.
Do you think church is important, Jamie?
I do, and I think we're going to get some reasons why when we look at questions like this.
Yes. Do I have to go to church?
Do I have to go to church? No. What? Nobody has to go to church to be a Christian or a follower of Jesus. But, don't check out on me. God wants us to grow stronger in our faith. And one of the best ways that we grow stronger in our faith is to be around other people who are growing stronger in their faith. It makes sense. Because isolation does not work. Hello? 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 If you think about the very first church, the early church, when they first started meeting, think about it, they didn't have any videos, They didn't have any podcasts. There was no Bible app. There was no printing press. And most of them, they could not read. Oh, yeah. Nothing. And so if they wanted to learn and be changed by God's word, they had to come together in communities, and they would read and they would talk out loud. They would grow together. And this is a tradition that has been set up for us from the beginning. Here's the church. Here's the steeple. Open it up. There are the people. And so the church is a backstage pass to what God is doing in your faith and other people around you. And it is not perfect. And that's okay. Because the church is full of broken people who need grace. People who want to grow with you.
That was good.
Yeah. What's the next question?
Whoa. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, I think I got one. Almost.
Oh, here.
Okay.
All right, the next question is online church really a church?
Hey guys, I'm Austin Patterson, and you might remember me from this video where you met my wife. Hey wife, come say hello.
Who, me?
Yeah, come on.
Hey, everyone.
And my dog. Oh, I love you too. Or you might remember that I beat Ninja.
Oh, actually, that's it. Scar. Oh, well, there you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But I'm not here to talk to you about gaming. See, I'm the church online video producer. See, it says it right here. Church online video producer. You might be thinking, hang on, church online? How does that work? So when I say church, you probably picture this. And you're not wrong. That is a building that church is held in. But whenever I hear the word church, I picture this. You see, the difference is the people. You see, the Bible in Matthew 18:20 says this, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered as my followers, I am there among them." So that means church can look like this. See, we're worshiping together. You can see the comments on the side that people are talking with each other, praying for each other online. You see, today in our culture, there's lots of churches that do online services, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Instagram, or any other platform. Church has grown beyond a building. The Bible never said church was a building, but you and me and people are the building blocks of church. Jesus talks about the kingdom of God. He doesn't specify a time or place or a specific floor plan. So church online is a way that we build community and build our faith online. It doesn't mean that we should ignore physical communities. But when someone chooses to follow Jesus online, that doesn't mean any less when they choose to raise their hand at a physical location. Taking church online allows us to be the church for people all over the world.
This is the church, here is the steeple, open the door and see all the answers. It's time for the quiz thing. Guess how many trees there are on Earth? I'm serious, guess. Just yell out numbers. I wanna hear some numbers. Did any of you say A, 3 trillion, B, 4 billion, C, 2 billion, or D, 100 million? Guess what, one of those is correct. According to a report in 2015, there are an estimated A, 3.04 trillion trees on Earth. That's a ton of trees, man. Think about all those trees, and then think about all the branches that each one of those trees has.
I mean, that's a lot of branches, man. When you think about it, it's like a bunch of branches, man.
That's a lot to process. Okay, now let's talk about denominations. Whoa, what? He was talking about trees and now he's talking about this word? You're like, dude, what's a denomination, dude? I don't even know. I was at a sleepover with my friend and now I'm at this church and they're talking about denominations? What? Like you were probably at school and someone was like, I go to this type of church, right? Like maybe you heard somebody at school talking about, I'm a Baptist, or I'm a Lutheran, or I'm a Catholic. Let's do a quick quiz question. Which of these is not a known denomination? Is it A, Methodist, B, Presbyterian, C, Cafeterian, or D, Pentecostal? If you said D, yep, Pentecostal is definitely a denomination. If you said C, you're right, cafeterian, I made that one up. There's no such thing as the Church of Cafeteria. If there were, we'd all go back for seconds. Am I right? What a horrible joke. Since we're tree talking, let's think of denominations like a tree. If Christianity was a tree, then a denomination would be a branch off of that tree. So let's think about the trunk. That's rooted in Jesus. And everything on the trunk is all the things that we believe that are similar. Jesus was God. He came to earth. He died. He rose again 3 days later for our sins. Those things we can all agree on. And then think of the branches as where we have different practices, different interpretations, different traditions. For example, if I hang out on the Protestant branch, then I believe that I can confess my sins directly to God. If I hang out on the Catholic branch, then I confess my sins to a priest and he takes those sins to God for me. But don't miss this. This is huge. Those branches are still connected to the same tree, the Christianity tree, the Christiana tree. I just coined that phrase. That's mine. Copyright, trademark, Quizman. The Christianity tree is the Christiana tree, and it's rooted in Jesus. So here's a frequently asked question. There's tons of denominations. Which one is right? Which one is correct? Which branch should I hang out on? Who's the realest of the real? Here's the answer. The best way to know if your branch is sturdy is to learn to recognize God's truth. It's up to you. So you can't just assume that a branch is connected to the tree. Before you pick a branch, check the roots. Do some sleuthing. Figure it out. Does your church have a growing relationship with Jesus? Does it follow his teaching and love others? If not, some alarms should be going off. Don't just assume that a branch is connected. Before you pick a branch, check the roots. Commit yourself to a church that has committed itself to God. That's the realest of the real. I'm the Quizman. Goodbye.
Your steeple looks awesome.
Thank you. I am going to end up making some windows, right about there. So
that's a good idea. Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
Cool. So our next question is simple. Does church even matter?
Okay, so does church even matter? So we're going to start with something really simple. Yes, the church matters because the church matters to God. In the Bible, God calls the church his bride. He loves the church. He protects the church. He stands up for the church. Even though we are the church, has he met us? We're a mess. It's like this. It's like you love your mom, right? She's not perfect. She makes mistakes, but you love your mom. And if I were to walk into the room and start talking smack about your mom, it's not like you're gonna stand there and be like, no, we're gonna have an altercation. You're gonna be angry at me and you're gonna let me know it because you care about your mom. And that is how God cares for the church. And it's not because we're perfect or our buildings look great or worship sounds awesome. God loves the church because it is made up of his people. In fact, in 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 17, it says this. It says, "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If any man destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple." Yeah, you are that temple. And the person sitting next to you, and on the other side, the person whispering behind you, you are the temple. And I hope you're tracking with me here because it's not like a building and events and a staff and doing great things aren't all great, but those are man-made things. And the church was designed by God. He stands up for the church. And you know what? He expects us to stand up for the church too. It's like if I were to come into the room and start talking about your mom and your best friend's sitting right next to you. You wouldn't expect them to just sit there and take it. No, you would expect them to stand up for your mom too. And that's what God expects of us. So let's simplify this one more time. The church matters to God because you matter to God, and the church is you.
This is the church.
This is the steeple.
Open the doors.
I
don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to our church, it's okay to ask questions.
It's also okay if you don't have all the answers.
Like, why do we have tiny hands today?
What tiny hands? These are my real hands.
Church matters. So how will you respond?
Your challenge is to commit.
And our challenge is to get a drink of water.
Oh.
Enjoy the ride.
Ah! Oh, it's failing. I'm failing. I'm failing.
Well, those are some great thoughts on what the church is and how we can live out being God's church even now when things are weird and maybe we don't come to church or maybe we do. And I want to just say today that for some of you, maybe following Christ has been really strange during the last while and you're not really sure what it looks like. Or maybe you're kind of feeling a little bit of guiltiness in your heart, like, I really haven't been being a follower of God during this last season. I haven't really been that engaged. Wherever you find yourself today, for our Lectio today, I want to pray a prayer over you. And this is a prayer that Paul prayed over the earliest churches. He prayed this prayer because he believed that God was going to use the church to do great and amazing things. And we're the church. We just talked about that today. We are the church. And so as we pray this prayer, I want you to take a minute and just close your eyes, open your heart, and listen to maybe one little phrase or one word that God would stand out to you that you could hold on to this week. So let's get ready to pray this together. It's from Ephesians 3, verse 16 to 18. I pray that from his glorious, unlimited resources, he will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit. Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. I'm going to read it again. I pray that from his glorious, unlimited resources, he will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit. Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. And this last time, just listen for that word or phrase that you can hold on to this week. I pray that from his glorious riches, his glorious unlimited resources, he will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit. Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. The piece that stood out to me was that piece at the beginning where it says, he will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit. And I know I need strength from God this week, because it's going to be a strange week of going into unknown things about school and getting ready and all of that. And I need his strength, not my own. And so that's what I'm holding on to this week. I wonder what you're holding on to. Maybe you can share that with your parents or a sibling, or just keep it in your heart and pray it to God and say, God, this is what I need from you this week. Well, 56ers, it's been a great week with you. We look forward to seeing some of you maybe this next week in person. So exciting. And if not, we'll hopefully keep checking in with you online. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.